I want to begin to tell you a story about a father. You see, this father had two sons. He had a younger son and an older son. And it said the younger son comes up to him and says, "Dad, I want all my inheritance." And the father graciously says, "Sure, son, you can have it all." And he hands him his inheritance. And it says the son takes it and he goes off to a distant land. And as he goes off to this distant land, it says that he begins to live wildly. I'm sure he threw massive parties, and it even says in there that he slept with prostitutes, and all these things begin to happen while he's living wildly. But you see, the country goes into a famine. All of a sudden, money is not readily available anymore. And it says that he begins to have to find work. And he finds this man that would hire him. And the man says, "I have just the job for you. You must feed the pigs." Now, I don't know if you've ever fed pigs before, but it's nasty. The slop that they eat and the stuff that they waller in, it's just a gross job. But it says that while he's feeding these pigs, it says he's starving. And he's even contemplating eating it. Now, that's pretty to the bottom. That's pretty gross to think that you would eat pig slop. And in this moment of his utter bottom of himself, he goes, maybe I should just go home. Maybe I should just go back to my father's house. Maybe he would just hire me as one of his servants, because he says, I'm not even worthy to be called his son. But you see that word, going home. That thought, going home. That had to be terrifying. What would the father say? What's he going to do? What is going to happen in this moment of going home? How long was the journey? Man, I just can imagine him going and journeying back home. And he has to cross over valleys, go up mountains, cross over bridges. And every time he got to a bridge, every time he got to a valley, I could imagine in his mind fighting the war in the thoughts of, you're not adequate, you should turn around, you should quit, you're nothing, you're no good, no one loves you, no one cares about you. Matter of fact, you should just end your life. But something in him kept warring past that. And he keeps on journeying. And he gets closer and closer to his father's home. And I can just imagine, what would it be like as you cross around the corner? You see, I can imagine his father having this massive home, this amazing estate, this just grandeur of land and lakes and just amazing landscapes. I bet it was just awesome. And as he comes around the corner, that moment that he sees the father's house, I can imagine his heart just starts beating inside of his chest. He's just like, what's he gonna say? What's the father gonna do? Is he gonna love me? Is he gonna hate me? Is he gonna yell at me? Is he gonna discipline me? Is he gonna tell me to get off of your land, to get out of here? You should be not even my son anymore. I don't know. I just know that he continued to press forward. He continued to move on. And as he's getting closer to his father's house, there's the moment. There's the time when the father, it says literally in the story, it says the father was sitting there and he began to run off the front porch to embrace him. He began to just run down the road. Now as the son is probably going, what is he doing? Why is he running at me? Is he gonna hate me? Is he gonna come and hit me? Is he gonna discipline me? Is he gonna run me off of his place? Like, why? And all these emotions, all this adrenaline, all of his heart beating out of his chest moment. It says the father runs and embraces him. It says he kisses him and he holds him and he says, "You're my son, you're home. I'm so glad you're home." And it says in that very moment, the son says, "Dad, I'm not even worthy to be called your son. I've wasted it all. I gave it all away. It's all gone. And it says the father doesn't even wait. The father says immediately, quick, come. Hey, servants, by the way, my son is home. Hey, go get my best robe and put my robe on him. Go get the best ring, my signet ring. Go get my shoes, the sandals. Hey, not only that, where's a fattened calf? There must be a fattened calf. Go get a fattened calf. We must have a party. We must celebrate that the son is home. I love you, son. You're amazing. You're incredible. I can't just believe that you're in my arms. And in this moment, they begin to put the robe around him of provision. The ring of significance. This is a ring that means something. It means authority. And the shoes is God painting a picture of his destiny all over again. Saying, son, I have plans for you. I have so much more for you. But most importantly, the party. It says that there's a party going on when you return back to the Father. There's a party that everyone is celebrating. All of heaven is celebrating. But in this moment, the Father is celebrating. Now, meanwhile, the older brother, you see, he worked really hard for the Father. He never did anything wrong. He was always giving himself to the Father to do whatever he needed. And it says that he comes and sees this commotion. And he asks one of the servants, he says, why is there so much commotion? What is going on here? And the servant, I can imagine the servant's pretty happy. The servant's like, hey, your brother's home. Like, this is a great deal. Your brother's got here and he's safe, he's sound, it's amazing. But the older brother in that moment said he was full of anger. And rage is inside of him. Because immediately he goes, how dare the Father give away my inheritance? How dare the Father give what is mine to this brother that has wasted everything? He's given it all away. And it says even the father comes out and meets the older brother. And the older brother walks up to the father and he says, how? How could you give this away? How could you waste it all? You just gave it to the brother? He slept with prostitutes. He spent all of his inheritance. I've been here. I've done what you've asked me to do. I've always fed the cows. I've always farmed the land. I've always cleaned the house. I've always done everything you've asked me to do. And you give my fattened calf to him. And in the middle of this, the father graciously says, son, everything I have is yours. All of what you see is yours. But he says, most importantly, it's about me. You're in my presence. We're together. Your son, your brother, was lost. And now he's found. We must celebrate. Because he's home. And you see, in this moment, God is a father. No matter which side of the fence you're on, the older brother or the younger brother is here to embrace you and love you. You see, I was the younger brother one that went off and spent my money on wild living and did craziness. And I thought God wanted nothing to do with me. I was scared to death, even to the point of I wanted to give my life away. I wanted to just end it and be over because I was so terrified of what God the Father was going to say to me. Was he going to say, I can't even believe who you are. I can't believe what you've done. You've never lived up to anything. But yet, the complete opposite thing happened. He came and embraced me. And he told me he loved me. And that changed everything. I was known by the Father, but the Father knew me. And he still loved me, in spite of all of the things I had done. But then there's an easy tendency to be over here on this side of the fence of, you may have walked with God for a long time, you may have journeyed with Him for a long time, and it becomes about everything you do for Him and not about Him. And your heart begins to get hardened, and you begin to value things more than you value Him. And He's graciously waiting and knocking on our heart saying, son, let me in. Let me break down the hard parts of your heart. Let me rush in with freedom. Let me rush in with power. Let me rush in with love. Let me rush in and embrace you like the day that you were first embraced. Over and over and over again, that God would feel His love. You would feel His goodness. You would feel who He is. Any moment and any time, whether you're older brother or younger, wherever your journey is in life, God is waiting to embrace you. He is waiting to hold you. So why don't you ask Him? Ask the Father to embrace you.